Hey snackers, it's Lace with Snack It or Leave It, and I am here to talk about day 2 of our vacation to Orlando, Florida, the Walt Disney World Resort. Day 2, we went to Epcot, which is hosting the International Food and Wine Festival currently. Well, actually, probably by the time this video airs, the festival will be over. This festival went from July 27th of 2023 through November 18th of 2023. It is the longest running festival that Epcot offers. They also offer a couple other festivals throughout the year. This one is, of course, by far my favorite, although I haven't been to the other one, so maybe a future trip, who knows. When you get into Epcot, you can get one of these passports, and this has essentially a bunch of the food offered. It has the menu of the different booths that you could get. And it's all like small sample size plates. Each plate does cost extra outside of the ticket into the park. But honestly, it's usually pretty well priced, and it's a great way to try some different cuisine without making a huge commitment like an entree at a restaurant. So I have actually, this is my third time back to the Food and Wine Festival. My first time was in 2016, and then I went again in 2018. And a lot of the menu offerings change. There's many countries represented there at World Showcase in Epcot. And there's just so much fun things to try. So this year, the first thing I tried, and hands down my absolute favorite thing there at the festival, was the curry spiced crispy cheese with mango curry ketchup from the India booth. This was fantastic. This was what I would say is like a Indian flair to mozzarella sticks almost. It was like a paneer cheese, which was coated in breadcrumbs, deep fried. There were sticks of them, and they were served with that mango curry ketchup, and that mango curry ketchup gave it a wonderful spice with the sweetness and acidity, and it was just a wonderful pairing. You could taste a little bit of the curry flavor with the acidity of the ketchup, and the little sweetness of the mango went so well with that crispy fried cheese. Hands down was my favorite. I kind of wish I had gotten a second one towards the end of the day, because that ended up being my absolute favorite thing. So starting off with a bang, then we went to the Alps booth, which had warm raclette Swiss cheese with shaved ham, baby potatoes, cornichons or pickles, and a baguette. So this cheese is like a big hunk of cheese under these heat lamps, and then they kind of scrape off the melty part of it onto the potatoes, the baguette, whatever. This was good if you're a cheese lover. They've had that for a number of years, and it's something that I hadn't tried yet at my previous 2 trips to Food and Wine Festival, so I really wanted to try it, and it made me happy. The baguette was just a baguette. I did not end up finishing that. I didn't want to fill up on bread alone, but the cheese was delicious. The ham, the potatoes were cooked very well. It was pretty good. I don't know if I would get it again necessarily. Don't feel like I need to, but it was good. Next, we went to the Canada booth. Now, the Canada booth has had, if I remember correctly, they have had the exact same thing on the menu the entire time that Epcot has done the Food and Wine Festival, which is like over 20 years now, I believe. They have had their famous Canadian cheddar and bacon soup served with a pretzel roll, and you can actually get this cheddar cheese soup at the sit-down table service restaurant there in the Canada Pavilion in Epcot called Le Cellier. It's a steakhouse where they also serve their Canadian filet. which is also served at the Epcot Food and Wine Festival. They have always had the cheddar cheese soup, and they have always had the filet mignon. This filet mignon had mushrooms, boursin, black truffle and sea salt mashed potatoes, and boursin whipped butter. And honestly, it was really good for a festival offering. The fillet cost about $9, which for the portion is kind of expensive for the portion. But again, you're trying it without committing to a giant entree. And considering that it is kind of mass cooked for the festival, it was very good. It was not tough or stringy. I would have had it a little less done than it was. I think it was close to a medium well. I prefer more of a medium. But the flavors were fantastic, and that cheddar cheese soup is everybody's favorite. It was like 90 degrees outside. It was hot, it was crowded, and yet somehow that cheddar cheese soup still hit the spot. I don't know how they can make me want cheddar cheese soup in the heat of Florida, but they do, and it is very good. So back on the menu at France, I had to make a stop. I had this back in 2018, my trip to 2018, they had this on the menu as well. And it was so good. I got two in one day. It is a croissant escargot. I'm not gonna even try the French pronunciation of that. It's essentially escargot in a croissant. If you're not familiar with escargot, it is snail. So there are cooked snail in this croissant with garlic and parsley on top. And it is so good. So good. The croissant is light. It is buttery. It is flaky. It is everything a croissant should be. And the escargot are cooked well. They are not chewy. They are not gummy. They are, I mean, if you're a fan of, you know, like oyster or mussel, it's got a similar texture to that, but it is in a pastry, so it's well hidden, you know. And again, this is a one of those opportunities that if you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna like escargot, you spend $5 on this croissant, you can take a bite of it and toss the rest, and you're not out very much. So it's a wonderful opportunity to branch out of your comfort zone a little bit and try something without the commitment. I happen to love it. It's got wonderful garlic, parsley, buttery sort of topping on it, and mine was gone within like 10 seconds. It was so good. I did not buy a second one this time. I just had the one, but I would get it again in a heartbeat. It is so good. Yeah. And then, so this isn't part of the Food and Wine Festival, but this is now becoming a tradition for us. In the Japan Pavilion, there is a little shaved ice hut with kakigori, which is shaved ice. And it gets so hot usually when we are there that shaved ice is like the best thing in the world. It's just shaved ice with syrup on top. But for some reason, it's so good. The last time we were there in 2018, it was incredibly hot. A hurricane had just gone through the week before and brought up a bunch of like unseasonably hot heat, and it was crazy hot, and we ended up getting like 2 or 3 kakigori the day we were in Epcot, and it was just so refreshing, so good, and it just sounded so good this day too. So we ended up getting one of those. I believe it was cherry and blue raspberry, standard run-of-the-mill, but very refreshing on a hot day. We took a little side trip, sort of. My husband really wanted some pizza, and in the Italy Pavilion, there is a walk-up counter. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but they have pizza. They also have a sit-down restaurant called Via Napoli, and everybody says it's the best pizza, this Via Napoli, that you can get on property. I have heard that they import the water from Italy to make the crust because Florida water is no good for pizza crust. I don't know. I have not done my fact checking. You can be proactive and fact check if you want. The walk-up counter, however, does not have the same pizza as Via Napoli. Well, we really wanted to try the Via Napoli pizza. And they happen to have a walk-up reservation for 2 people. So after eating all the food mentioned here or beforehand, we went and had a pizza together. I didn't take a picture of the pizza. I don't know why. It was essentially just a regular margarita pizza with the tomato sauce, the mozzarella cheese, a little bit of basil. We added pepperoni, which was very, very good. High quality pepperoni, very good. This pizza was amazing. I don't know if it's the best pizza I've ever had, but it's certainly amazing pizza for the inside of a theme park. Highly recommend Via Napoli. I took a few photos of the interior of the restaurant that I will interject. But it was very good. And let me just tell you, I was so full after this because we had split like I believe it was a 10-inch, but it ended up being, it seemed like it was way bigger, but we finished the pizza. So I had had all that food, and then I had half a pizza. I'm not proud of that, but it was very good. So that was pretty much everything I tried at Food and Wine Festival, except they had something very unique this year. They, in the Odyssey building, they decided to do a brewing lab where they themed it towards the Muppets, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker, where they were concocting crazy ideas of food. And one of the highlights this year was a pickle milkshake. Yeah, pickle milkshake. I did a whole video, recorded it. You will see that very shortly. So I'm not going to talk about it here because I've got a whole video on that. Pickle milkshake. Yep, you'll just have to see that video. So that should be coming out very soon. That was essentially everything we ate on day 2. We did not go to any restaurants that day. We did not really have anything because I really wanted to focus on the food and wine offerings. And of course, then we had that surprise that we just wanted some pizza, and we had that. So that's what we ate on day 2. Day 3 will be coming. I'm going to do that. I'm going to upload that pickle milkshake video, and then I will talk about day 3, which is when we spent most of the day in Disney's Hollywood Studios park. We did have a lunch, and then we went to the Food and Wine Classic event, and I will be showcasing all of that in the next video. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure your notifications are on, and we will talk about that in the next video. So I will see you guys at the next night time.